for the Bar Association. We have the Honorable Laurel Brady, the Honorable Julia Kempens, the Honorable Wendy Coates, also a past board member, Commissioner Gina Dashman, also a past board member. Noticing a theme. The Honorable John Devine, the Honorable Danielle Douglas, the Honorable David Goldstein, the Honorable Joni Hiramoto, the Honorable Suzanne Fenstermacher, not only a past board member, but a past Contra Costa County Bar Association president.
Yay!
We have the Honorable Leonard Marquez, the Honorable Benjamin Reyes, and Kate Beaker, also in attendance, who is the court CEO. And I'd also like to mention that we have some past Bar Association presidents in attendance. We have Nick Casper, who's from 2015, Colin Coffey from 2005, Larry Cook from 2009, Dick Frankel from 2002, Robin Pearson, 2008, and Steve Steinberg from 2014. I think that's everybody somewhat in a, I think I got everybody here. And if I missed anybody, I do apologize. And I'd like to mention some upcoming Bar Association events that we have. We have our Elder Law series that just began this last Wednesday. It's weekly on Wednesday evenings through mid-March. It's a spectacular event. Everybody is welcome to attend. It's a scavenger hunt hosted by our barristers. Sure to be fun. February 4th. A visual art show. Show off your skills or see what others do. February 9th. The 4th annual Lunar New Year celebration is on February 18th. The State Bar Provisional License Program. Learn how you can help a soon-to-be attorney get experience on February 23rd. There's some recent news about that that may be mentioned that is sure to be of interest to many people about lowering the cut score to 1390 or more. That just came out very recently. The 27th annual MCLE Spectacular is going to be November 18th through 19th. And more information about this year's MCLE Spectacular will be mentioned later on. And also, please check our calendar for more MCLE and DEI and social events. And with that, I'm going to turn this over to Teresa Hurley.
Actually, I don't really need to do very much at this point. I am just going to show real quick as a thank you. Oh, there we go. A thank you to our sponsors who have helped us make this event possible, as well as just promoting us throughout the year. So thank you all very much. Many of these sponsors are also sponsoring all of our different DEI events this year. And back to you, Oliver.
Thank you, Teresa. Okay. Right now, I'm going to do a recap of what we've done as a Bar Association in 2020. As you all may have heard many, many times now, 2020 was a year of much change and challenge. It was no different for the CCCBA. It's amazing to think that this time last year, things were moving along as normal. We held the event at the Contra Costa County Country Club, as we have for many years. Sections held many in-person MCLE programs. We had a slew of social programs. Sections had scheduled many MCLE programs. And there were plans for many, many new events and programs throughout the year. We had a 2020 crystal clear vision, but 2020 had other plans, and that all changed in March. While the CCCBA staff were able and quickly able to pivot to working from home and to keep our members and community informed about the changes in the legal community, it quickly became obvious that we'd need to do further shifting so we could be more fully able to carry out our mission of empowering our members to provide outstanding legal services to our community. It would not be business as usual for at least a few months, or so we thought. And the CCCBA staff, board, sections, and committees swung into high gear, transitioning to all virtual events and meetings. I can't say enough how grateful we are to the many amazing staff and volunteers who've stepped up and helped educate and support us as we all continue to go through the many challenges and changes in our lives that COVID-19 has wrought. Many sections ended up putting on more programs than ever before with greater turnout. To highlight only a few, the women's section started a book club. The family law section held monthly town halls with supervising judge Danielle Douglas. In the employment section was kept very busy, keeping us informed about the impact of COVID in our workplaces. And the list goes on and on. Not to be outdone, the committees were extremely active in 2020. The Pro Bono Committee put on several programs highlighting the need for support from pro per UD litigants. The newly renamed and greatly expanded Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, holding a wide range of important and informative programs such as the Racial Reconciliation Forum and DEI town halls, as well as the annual Lunar New Year Celebration and Diversity Awards that will take place later during this event. The Education Committee put on a 9-part series that focused on running a law firm and also explored the different kind of legal careers. The Food from the Bar Committee enabled 35 teams from our legal community to participate in the annual fundraiser from the Food Bank of Contra Costa and Solano, raising enough to provide our community with more than 80,000 meals. We continued our member information series over the summer, helping members navigate the complexities of Social Security, Medicare, and student loans. Another highlight of this year was the committee's implementation of the first pro bono honor roll. The 23 inaugural recipients donated hundreds of hours over a 12-month period. Everything from work on pro bono cases, volunteering at legal clinics with the court, board, committee meetings, attendance, or work on non-legal community volunteering, such as coaching sports teams or leading scout troops. The fact that over half of this work was done during the pandemic makes it even more amazing. The efforts make the world a better place. Sometimes that is even more necessary during these challenging times. We encourage everyone to submit your hours for this year's Pro Bono Honor Roll. We will add to the Pro Bono recognition by giving out our inaugural James J. Marciano Distinguished Service Award at this year's Bar Fund benefit in September. More on that to come soon. CCCBA also supported the Contra Costa County Superior Court by participating in justice partner meetings, holding several town halls with the presiding judge and supervising judges, and sending frequent updates to our members about the many emergency rules of court and closures and changes. And has been the case almost every year for the past several years. The Contra Costa Superior Court lured another one of our leaders away to work for them. This year, it was Commissioner Gina Dashman. We appreciate your legacy of service. We miss you on the board, Commissioner Dashman. Our lawyer referral service and information service implemented a 24/7 online self-referral service so that community members can get referrals to qualified attorneys at any time, and our LRIS panel can increase their business. While we were able to maintain service on that end, we unfortunately had to reduce our dedicated staff's hours to 80% time because of the decreased income due to COVID. We have an unbelievable wealth of experience of more than 90 years on the LRIS lines between our amazing staff of Barbara Arcedo, Jennifer Kamajas, and Emily Day. Their efforts and dedication to our organization is greatly appreciated. We're hopeful that the circumstances change and we'll soon be able to bring them back up to full-time hours. Finally, one of our biggest adjustments we made this year was turning our flagship MCLE Spectacular into a virtual 2.5-day conference. I'd like to call out Ann Wolf, Carol Lucido, and Teresa Hurley for their tremendous job they did in pulling this amazing event together. We had fantastic feedback about it, and we'll be looking for ways of having a hybrid spectacular in the future. Stay tuned for more details about the 2021 MCLA Spectacular. There's so much more that our individual members, sections, committees, and other organizations did this year to keep our community informed and supported. Thank you all for your ongoing commitment and to improving legal service in the Contra Costa County. And I would like to introduce you to our incoming President Dorian Peters at this time. I've had the honor and privilege of working with Dorian on many committees and on the board of directors for the Bar Association for several years. Dorian is an amazing individual. And those of you who have worked with him in the past will be able to easily attest to that as well. He's fun. He's just amazing all around. He's witty. He's smart, and he takes all sides of the arguments and he turns them upside down every single time. And that's he's one of the best people just to have around for that. And I'm just overjoyed that he will be taking over the reins and leading the Bar Association forward. And so with that, at this time, I would like to turn this over to you, Dorian.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with everyone and to see everyone's face. Before I talk to you a little bit more, I want to just take a few moments and recognize Oliver Greenwood for the leadership that he has provided this last year. I came into this presidency of the Bar Association kind of knowing what I was getting into. Oliver didn't. Obviously, as he pointed out, last year everything was normal, and he's had to adjust. He's had to sort of take all the things that have come at all of us and really deal with them, and he's done that. Oliver is a really fun person. I think some of you know that he has a few special abilities, and he has a really good sense of humor. Very personable, and has done a great job of taking our Bar Association through this uncertain time. And, without him, we wouldn't be where we are today. So at this time, I want to direct your attention to Oliver, where he's going to be presented with a President's Service Award. And as we can see, Oliver's now looking behind him. Looks like we had a little bit of a espionage mission to be able to present this award to Mr. Greenwood. And it's really just to recognize the service that he's given to the Bar Association, both as president and as a board member going through all the different executive offices. And going forward, he's still going to be on the board as the past president and as someone that I'm going to look to for leadership going forward. So let me turn it back to Oliver for a few moments, and then we'll go on.
Oh, thank you. That was, thanks, Ann.
Thank you, Ann.
Oh my gosh, that is too funny, because it said on this agenda that it would be a surprise on how it said this would magically appear. And somebody was rattling at my door and I was getting really nervous because I had this client saying that she was going to show up at my office. And I said, nobody's supposed to show up at my office. I'm like, oh my gosh, did somebody let her in? And so I was a little freaked out, but like maintaining my composure as I heard the door rattling and I'm still trying to talk. So that was awesome. You guys, that was wonderful. Thank you so much, everybody. And Teresa and I were talking this morning, and one of the things that I was thinking about is just what I was thinking about last year. And I pulled out my speech from last year and how it began. And it began with 2020. A clear vision. And that kind of changed, and which is and it changed. It changed not just for me, but for everybody, and it started that way, and it changed not just for me. And I remember how disappointed that I was for myself about I'm like, oh gosh, my year as president. And then I looked around and I saw the world about me, and I thought, oh, not just me, not my year as president, but everybody's year as everything. All these kids in school, everybody with doing everything, and people's jobs, people's lives. What can I do? How can I help? Is I was able to quickly pivot and try to make the world a better place. Is what my mind went to, rather than looking at maybe this is a bad thing for me. And ultimately that's where I started looking at the leadership component, and and then I realized the leadership component that I was looking for and looking to grasp at and I wanted to prop up and I wanted to develop here. What wasn't necessarily me, the leadership component that I wanted to really develop already existed, that I could help, and that existed within the Bar Association itself. That one of my predecessors, or almost predecessors, Judge Coates, she had said is that we're really fortunate here that the sign of a healthy organization, a bar association, is the executive director, and the true leadership comes from within there, and that's exactly what we saw when things got really bad here at the Bar Association, or just in general. Teresa dug in, and she really showed what it meant to be a true leader. And everything that I've done this past year has been to help her be a better leader within the Bar Association. And in doing so, it's made me trip up, and I've had some hiccups along the way. And she's allowed me to help me. She's picked me back up many times. But I wanted to just help support her, because she really is the glue that binds the organization together. And without her leadership, we don't really have much of an organization. And so we as a board have to support not just her, but then the staff that helped run the entire organization. But it comes from that leadership within. So that's where I shifted, and then I know it's not always apparent, because things just aren't. But and as I turn over these reins, I hope that focus on the Bar Association and its health can continue. That we put on so many great organizations, and how we were able to shift, and how we were able to pivot, how we made just such a fantastic MCLA spectacular, and how so many great things came out of this year, and how we were able to like our DEI committee, I think is just going to be fantastic going forward as well. And we've got strong leadership there. Things are just looking so good, and that all comes from within, and that all comes from our membership as well. And so that's all this is all going to work, and it's going to stay healthy that way. So with that, I would like to just turn this back on over to you, Dorian, and with the health of the Bar Association back in your hands. I appreciate the trust that the Bar Association gave to me, and I leave it now to you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Oliver. And thank you so much for those nice words and for your leadership. And I really do agree that Teresa is really the glue that binds us all together and make sure that we're doing all the things that we need to do. So going forward, I want to just take a couple seconds just to introduce myself. Vast majority of the folks in this room I know, but there's a few people that I don't. I'm Dorian Peters. I've been an attorney for about 11 years now, and I started my career here in the county working at the Contra Costa County District Attorney's Office. I then spent about 4 or 5 years in private practice, both as a solo attorney as well as at Gagan McCoy in Danville. And over the last 2 years, I switched up a little bit and became a police officer for the city of El Cerrito, where I currently work as a detective. So that's a little bit about me. One of the things that Oliver talked about is having a strong bar association, having a strong board. And all of the things that we do as a bar association is not done by one person. It's done really by an entire team. And no one of us could do all of the things that the Bar Association does. And so in recognition of our team and the fact that we have several new executive committee members, I wanted to give each of our executive committee members a couple minutes to introduce themselves as well as their practice area. So that way, all of you, the members and the judges and so on, can know and know all the people who are going to be representing them in our bar association. So with that, I'm going to turn it over for a couple moments to Erica McKenna, who is our president-elect for next year.
Thank you, Dorian. Hi, everybody. I'm Erica McKenna, co-founder of McKenna Brink Seniorati LLP, a local law firm here in Walnut Creek. I'm a transactional business law attorney, so I have not met a lot of the judges here because it is my goal with myself and my clients to not go to court. But I'm happy to see you here and to get to know you even more over the next few years. This is my 7th year on the board, but this is my first year as part of the executive committee. I am the president-elect, and I look forward this year to continuing to help our members grow their legal practices, grow our legal community, and continue building the relationship with Contra Costa as a whole. I've done that the past 6 years, and I look forward to doing it as president-elect and next year as president. Thank you, Dorian.
All right. Thank you, Erica. I'm excited to be working with you. We're going to turn it over now to David Erb, who's currently our secretary. So I'll turn it over to David Erb for a few moments to introduce himself and his practice.
Thank you, Dorian, and hello, everybody. David Erb, I'm a partner at Flicker, Karen, Kruger, and Basada. I'm a family law attorney. We've got an office in Silicon Valley and an office in San Ramon. I'm a past president of the family law section. This is my 4th year on the big board. I chair the education committee, and we have an elder law series program going on right now that we're very excited about. I'm also on the LRIS committee, where we just started doing 24/7 referrals so we can stay competitive with that program. I just wanted to reiterate something that Oliver has said, and probably a theme you're going to hear, but our bar association is very lucky to have Dorian as the new president with his breadth of experience. And I have to tell you that he is a very thorough and thoughtful president, and he brings that to all of his leadership and decision-making on the board. So we're very excited about that. So thank you very much, Dorian.
All right. Thank you, David Erb. And we're going to turn it over to our 2021 treasurer. That's David Pearson.
Thank you, Dorian. As Dorian said, I'm the treasurer for the incoming year. My name's David Pearson. I'm a partner at Brothers Smith, where I've been for almost the past year and a half. Most of you know me as a solo for 23 years working out of my house. And of course, I went to work at a law firm right as shelter in place came into place. So it's been a little bit different. My practice is primarily outside general counsel. But for those of you in the probate field, since I know how to litigate, my firm has dragged me into probate matters, so you may see me in probate court as well. I look forward to working with Dorian and the rest of the Bar Association. I've been on the board now, so this is my 3rd year and 1st year on the executive committee, but I've been involved with the Bar Association in Contra Costa for almost 20 years, both with the solo section as president, the business section, and various other sections, and with the Contra Costa Bar magazine, where you may have seen me on the cover a couple times. So I'm looking forward to continuing to help the Bar Association help all of its members and to work with Dorian. The past year has definitely been a challenge. Oliver led all of us with quite the good grace and manners to get us through all of this, and Dorian stepped up at the last minute to be president this year. And he knew what he was getting into, but it's still a tremendous challenge. And I want to thank Dorian for stepping in as president and being willing to take this job with the current conditions. Thank you, Dorian.
All right. Thank you to David Pearson, and thank you to the entire executive board, as well as to all of the board of directors who are going to be serving. As I mentioned before, it really is a team effort, and none of us can do it alone. So going into this year, wow, it's been a heck of a year. And, I think in terms of the pandemic and the Bar Association, one of the things that we've had to do is really focus our efforts on the things that are important and important to the world, but also important mostly to our members and our legal community. Going forward into 2021, one of the main things that I'm looking to do is to make sure that we're focusing on the basics, focusing on the reason why we exist, which is to provide strong service to our members and to help our members build practices that in effect serve our community. And, as you've heard, we've been doing that by Zoom events. We're having MCLE classes on Zoom on the regular basis. We're also trying to promote networking opportunities. We have an enterprising group of board members, as well as other members who've gotten together to create a networking group called CCCBA Pro, which I'm really, really excited about. The second thing that going forward, I really want to look to do this year is to make sure that despite the fact that we're all shifting to Zoom, despite the fact that we have this pandemic, is to make sure that we're continuing to serve our broader community, right? We serve our members, but we also have a broader community in which we exist. And as we know, over the last year, there's a lot of things in terms of the legal system, in terms of justice, in terms of the rule of law that our that our community, I think, really can benefit from our members and learning more about, as well as us serving their needs in a really, really difficult time. So going forward, we want to try to do our best to make sure that we're serving our broad community. The third thing that I really want to emphasize this year, and it's a good segue, is our relationship with our judiciary. It's very hard for us to do what we do as lawyers without a strong bench, and it's very hard for them to do what they do without us. And here in Contra Costa County, we've been very lucky to have a very, very strong bench, and we've been very, very lucky to have a good relationship with our judiciary. In a few moments, Presiding Judge Hardie is going to give a state of the court address. But even in my role working as a police officer, I've had to appear in court on Zoom and testify in trials and do that type of thing. And one of the things I have to say is that the court has done a very good job of making the transition over to Zoom. And I know that in some departments, in some areas, it's more difficult than others. But I will say that at least the traffic courts, the small claims courts, those things have been running incredibly smoothly, thanks to the hard work of, I'm sure, the entire bench, but especially Commissioners Lee and Commissioner Dashman, who I've had the opportunity to see run those courts. We're really grateful for our judiciary, and we're looking forward to doing everything we can to support our judiciary and making in their transition and getting through this difficult period. With that, I'm going to transition over to introducing our presiding judge. So Presiding Judge Hardie became our presiding judge on January 1st, 2021, after having served as the assistant presiding judge for 2 years. Before that, she served as a juvenile judge for 5 years and spent the last 2 as the presiding juvenile judge of Contra Costa. She's also served as a criminal judge in Pittsburgh, and most recently in Martinez as a felony trial judge. Before her appointment to the bench, she was in-house counsel at PG&E, where she was the director of tort litigation. She previously worked as an assistant U.S. attorney for the Northern District of California, as well as a deputy district attorney in Marin County. Earlier in her career, Presiding Judge Hardie worked as a United States probation officer for the Northern District of California and as an adult and juvenile probation officer in San Mateo County. And as a side note, when Judge Hardie was appointed to the bench, she was one of the first judges I appeared in front of back in the old Pittsburgh courthouse, which is reminded me of how old I am. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Presiding Judge Hardie for a State of the Court address. And after that, she will swear in our board members.
All right, thank you very much, Dorian. Thank you for having me. It's a real, quite frankly, honor to be here with your organization, all of its members. I'm pleased to see so many bench officers participating, and I'll be honest, probably the vast majority of them are much more attuned to using Zoom technology than I am. So with that, I want to take a moment and express my gratitude and thanks for the outgoing presiding judge, Judge Barry Baskin. I think it's safe to say that Judge Baskin served in a time that was unforeseen and the most challenging time faced, quite frankly, by the court and our community in recent memory. He was a leader among the various state presiding judges in terms of being decisive and moving quickly to try to respond to the pandemic as it unfolded, and always did so with everyone's well-being in mind and making sure that the court continued to serve the court users and our community. In terms of where we are now, I have to look back just a little bit on the history of the pandemic. It's the big elephant in the room for all of us. Unfortunately, it continues today. And in fact, in my view, the metrics are even worse now than they were when we began this journey last March, and probably unknowing to us before that. At any rate, the court has to continue to serve and to the extent possible, keep its doors open, so to speak, so that we can function and serve the community. There are various, and I think Dorian, you already pointed to that, there are various areas of our bench that have been very successful and quite frankly, partially due to the assistance of the Bar Association and its members in switching over and using remote technology so that we can continue to get cases moving and resolved as expeditiously as possible, and people can continue to have their day in court. I know that the commissioners have been fantastic in their ability to keep traffic and small claims moving. In addition, I want to give a shout out to our family law judges. They have some of the busiest calendars of all the judges in the county, and they've been almost seamless in their transition to utilizing Zoom technology. And I think part of that is a tribute to Judge Douglas, who's been an outstanding leader in family law. In addition, I know Judge Austin and the other civil judges are utilizing remote technology, Zoom, as well as court call to try to keep those cases moving along. Probate has done the same. Judge Fenstermacher and George have done a good job with that. And juvenile, to the extent they've been able to, have really made the change, even though in juvenile, for those of you who have practiced in juvenile, there are many moving parts, many people involved in it, and especially with the child welfare cases, they've been able to move most things over to remote technology. So I think that's a tribute not only to the bench and the bench officers, but also to the attorneys and practitioners that appear in our courtrooms. The one area, and I think it was kind of touched on before, that's been more of a challenge is probably our criminal cases. It's extremely difficult to transition criminal cases to remote technology for the obvious reasons and the constitutional rights involved of the individuals charged. So that has presented more challenges. I will just tell you that because I'm privy to knowing what other courts are doing around the state, I think Contra Costa has done a fairly amazing job in trying to keep those criminal cases moving. between the time that we reopened after we briefly shut down and then started slowly opening our doors between March and May. By the end of May and through December, Contra Costa County, our bench tried 88 criminal cases. And if you compare that number to other courts around the state, we really were one of the leaders in terms of our ability to keep those cases going. That said, it just continues to be a struggle. I think everyone understands the risks involved when we have the public coming in and out of the courthouses, summoning prospective jurors into the courthouse, many of who show up tend to be in those high risk categories. And when you have that many people in closed buildings, it becomes difficult to ensure and maintain good safety for everyone involved. So we've had to balance competing interests, and we're trying to make decisions that are mindful and respectful and thoughtful in terms of the needs of the court users to continue with these cases, but also for the safety of everyone involved, not only the court and court personnel, but the court users and the public when it comes to jury trials. So I truly, in my very short tenure being presiding judge thus far, have appreciated very much the open dialogue with all of our justice partners, as well as the Bar Association and its members, because quite frankly, we couldn't keep doing this without at least having that dialogue and receiving input. Now, looking forward a little bit to the extent we can, and it's a day-to-day change. Some good news, and we've all been looking for the good news. The governor's budget proposal for 21-22 was not nearly as bleak as we had expected. We suffered what we did not know was coming, a 5% budget reduction last May in the midst of this pandemic that we had not anticipated. That resulted in a $4.3 million cut. Most courts around the state had to furlough employees in order to make up their losses. We were fortunate because of Kate and her side of the court, were able to look at ways of saving and making up that loss without having to furlough our employees. So we made up most of it by not filling positions that were vacant. And we did eliminate some positions, all were non-union and administrative positions. The good news is that forecast, the early budget proposal is, although they told us to expect another 5% budget cut, that was not in the proposal, although anything can happen, as we all know, and until late June, I don't think we can really count on it, but we do have some reason to be optimistic. In addition to that, you all may be aware, we have 5 judicial openings currently on our bench, and we have a total of 38 bench officers, so that's rather significant for a bench our size. I don't know when we'll be getting appointments, but we're hoping we do so soon. And then I want to briefly mention and give a shout out to Kate Beaker, our CEO. She and her team have just been working feverishly to make sure that we get our new case management system, Odyssey, up and running. This is going to bring the court a long way in terms of technology and serving everyone. We're set to go live in March of 2022. That's a huge undertaking. We hope to have e-filing, which many of you, I'm sure, are anxiously awaiting. We're hoping to have that up and running within 60 to 90 days after we go live with our case management system. And with that e-filing, some of that will actually be mandated, but we'll be rolling that out, and Kate will be working with the bar and with our justice partners to connect all of you to a tutorial on how to use the e-filing component of our case management system, as well as a public portal. And I've heard nothing but rave reviews about your ability to navigate once you're in that, and how it will work for the users on your end of things. With that, I don't have much more to say. I just want to extend, Dorian had some very kind comments about the partnership or the good working relationship with the bench. I can assure you, we feel the same way about our work with the Bar Association and all of its members. We appreciate how flexible you have been, and quite frankly, given us some good tips going forward that we've been able to implement, and we hope to keep the dialogue open as we go from there. And I think with that, my next task is to ask those board members and section leaders. I'm not going to ask you to rise because then we'd be looking at your midsection. But if you would please raise your right hands and repeat after me. Oh, look at all those photos. Someone needs to take a glamour photo of me for these things. Okay, here we go. Please repeat after me. I do solemnly affirm
I do
solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and that I will faithfully discharge
And
that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of my appointed office
the duties of my appointed office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Judge Hardie. At this point, we're going to transition to the Diversity Award part of our program. This is our installation and launch as well as our Diversity Awards. One of our biggest goals as a bar association is increasing diversity within the legal profession, as well as making sure that we're serving a diverse group of folks. Our chair of the DEI committee is Dr. Benisa Berry, and she's gonna talk a little bit about the Diversity Award. She draws upon a multidisciplinary background in law and organizational psychology to inform her role as a neutral in the field of alternate dispute resolution. In addition to managing a mediation practice, she directs the Contra Costa Superior Court Guardianship Mediation Program, as well as the Community Dispute Resolution for the Contra Costa County. She served as the Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer and the Deputy Title IX Officer for JFK University, where she established the Multicultural Professionalism Series at the law school. With over 15 years of experience in legal and regulatory compliance, Dr. Berry served as the statewide compliance director and practice leader for ethics and integrity at Kaiser Permanente. And then here at the Bar Association, Dr. Berry is the chair of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, and is also on the Alternative Dispute Resolution Section Board of Directors. With that, I turn it over to Dr. Berry.
Thank you, Dorian. That felt a little bit out of place. Everybody else had such not as formal introduction, so thank you for that. It's my pleasure to be a part of today's recognition of member law firms who've earned the Bar Association Diversity Awards for their accomplishments in 2020. And the Diversity Awards are sponsored and administered and determined by the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, or DEI committee. And just to ensure that there's no confusion, last year, the committee renamed itself to the DEI committee from the Diversity Committee, which was established by the Bar Association in 2002. So in understanding that diversity really affects the quality of legal services and judicial systems and decisions, as well as the public's perception of an equal and fair legal and judicial system, the mission of the DEI committee, in brief, it's much longer than this, is to foster a diverse legal community that is equitable and inclusive by providing education, advocacy, and promoting action. It's also important to note that the committee has adopted a broad definition of diversity, which is inclusive of many dimensions that make an individual unique, including race, sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, religion, age, socioeconomic status, ethnicity, cultural background, neurodiversity, ability, national origin, and citizenship status. And since the committee's inception in 2002, the committee has expanded with a growing focus, membership, and programming. And so please consider, as you hear about some upcoming events, joining any one of them or all of the upcoming events, which include the Lunar New Year on February 18th, the Cultural Competency Program, which is being planned for March 18th, diversity filmmaking event on April 22nd, the Racial Reconciliation Forum in May, and upcoming town hall meetings, which are scheduled in June, September, and December. So the diversity awards and the focus of today are also an important part of our programming. And as a little bit of background, in 2017, the President Phil Anderson, who was the president in 2017, championed the idea of a diversity award to the diversity committee. And so a subgroup got together and they really developed a comprehensive checklist of activities and actions that Bar Association law firms could follow to support diversity in the Contra Costa legal field. And those firms who successfully meet a certain level of achievement are formally recognized. So the first set of awards were presented in 2018, and this is our fourth year of making the awards. And in 2019, we've had a significant change in the awards that would make it a little bit more inclusive of firms across the board. So the checklist was, the awards were split into two separate categories. So those are firms that have just one or two attorneys, and then a different set of criteria for firms with 3 or more attorneys. So the checklists are extensive and include over 90 different strategies and activities that firms can take. But in order to qualify for an award, law firms have to demonstrate activities in 4 areas. And these include, first and foremost, a commitment to increasing awareness and providing education around diversity within their own office. Secondly, an internal focus within the firm on diversity efforts that go beyond simply awareness and education and include implementing policies and procedures that institutionalize diversity and inclusion. Thirdly, support diversity efforts external to the firm that support racial equity and social justice in the legal and larger community as a whole. And finally, a clear strategy for recruitment and retention of a diverse workforce and attorneys within that firm. So one of the aspects that's unique about the award is that it's not a competitive process. So it's not just given to 1 or 2 firms, but any Bar Association firm that meets the criteria on the checklist can earn an award. And those are provided at the bronze, silver, gold, and platinum levels. So I want to applaud the member law firms that have participated and have embraced and implemented diversity, awareness, and inclusiveness in their firms. And it's our hope that this initiative inspires all of us to be more aware and inclusive and to better appreciate our differences. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Teresa, who is going to show us some slides acknowledging, I want to say winners, but acknowledging the accomplishments for 2020.
All right, here we go.
the CCCBA for continuing to prioritize diversity in the legal profession and further thank them for this award. This year, I am proud to have contributed to 3 different sections statements supporting Black Lives Matter following the tragic murder of George Floyd, and grateful to have been welcomed as a member of the bar's Diversity, Equality, and Inclusion Committee. I was excited to take place in this year's Racial Reconciliation Forum to continue an important and ongoing conversation about racial inclusion. Diversity benefits our communities, our courts, our clients, and ourselves. Let us learn, listen, and effect real change. Thank you.
I'm very grateful and honored to accept this Platinum Diversity Award on behalf of my law firm, the Law Offices of Natasha S. Chi. This year, we presented an MCLE entitled Diversity in Entertainment and Filmmaking, Examining the Inequities Suffered in Hollywood, provided pro bono services, mentored diverse students, and worked tirelessly on the CCCBA's DEI committee to effect positive change in this community. Although the need is still great, my firm and I will continue to strive for equality and justice for all. Thank you so much.
For demonstrating their commitment to building a diverse, equitable, and inclusive community, Ferber Law was awarded the Contra Costa County Bar Association's 2020 Platinum Diversity Award by serving historically disadvantaged populations through pro bono work, increasing awareness of invisible disabilities through education, and advocating for people of color. Ferber Law is contributing toward a more equitable society where true community is experienced by all. To learn more, visit www.ferberlaw.com today.
On behalf of all of us at Hanson Bridget, we're honored to win the Contra Costa County Bar Association's 2020 Platinum Award for Diversity today. Thank you to the association and all members for the recognition.
Diversity is a core value of our firm and has been since our founding. We are committed to establishing a diverse workforce that reflects the needs and interests of our clients and a work environment that provides opportunities for all people.
As a firm, we are committed to continuing our work to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion in Contra Costa County and beyond. From all of us at Hanson Bridget,
thank you.
Thank you.
My name is D. Carol Davis, and I am an attorney with our Community Legal Services program at Legal Aid at Work. I have had the honor of working with Beth Mora in our workers' rights clinics, where we provide free legal services to low-wage workers throughout California on a wide range of labor and employment matters. Beth is an expert in all things labor and employment law, and she has dedicated countless nights of her personal time to train and mentor our students, to providing her legal counsel, to being there for us. Not only is it a privilege to work with Beth, it is fun. Anyone who knows Beth knows that she is authentically herself all the time.
Hello, my name is Robin Pearson. I am extremely honored to be receiving this important award. On behalf of myself and the team at Ropers Majeski, I'm grateful for this recognition of our work to promote diversity within the Contra Costa community. I would like to thank the CCCBA and their DEI committee for their tireless work within our legal community. I would also like to thank the many lawyers at Ropers whose efforts contributed to our receiving this Platinum Diversity Award. Thank you again for this honor, and we look forward to partnering with the CCCBA on the 2021 DEI initiatives.
The attorneys of Cooper, White & Cooper, a law firm with a 125-year-old history, is pleased to have been actively involved with the Bar Association in Contra Costa County since opening its satellite office in 1989. Personally, I am honored to be a partner at a firm with so many who mentor others, judge moot court competitions, and volunteer for organizations which promote diversity, among so many other activities. It is because of these individuals that we are able to shine in our efforts to improve diversity.
Hi, I'm Mika Domingo of MS Domingo Law Group. The legal profession should be a reflection of our larger society. We must strive harder to have as many voices, backgrounds, and perspectives as possible to best serve our clients in our communities. MS Domingo Law Group is proud of our continued efforts towards this goal. Here are some highlights from the past year.
Diversity and inclusion are a fundamental part of who we are. It's in our foundation, not an add-on, a showpiece, or a box to check. It's in every decision we make. We continually seek out different perspectives, ideas, and backgrounds because they make us stronger, unwavering, uncompromising, united. At Littler, we celebrate everything that makes us human.
Hi, I'm Renee Livingston, founding member of Livingston Law Firm. I'm also the chair of the CCCBA Diversity Award Committee. I wanted to share a quick story about a success from last year's Diversity Award Luncheon. We had the good fortune of meeting Jasmine Jenkins, who we ended up hiring and quite fortuitously advancing our firm's own diversity and inclusion goals.
Hi, I'm Jasmine, and Teresa Hurley invited me to last year's Diversity Luncheon as a recent law school graduate, where I had the pleasure of meeting Renee Livingston, and the rest is history.
I'm Sally Noma of Noma Law Firm, and I got out of law school in 2009. I very often have been the only woman at the table, and as recently as 2019, I had a man who refused to shake my hand because I was a woman. So being able to have my own firm where I live the values that matter to me and am able to impact the women and other people in our community coming up behind me is an amazing feeling. So thank you so much for the award.
Hi, I'm Andy Verrier from Hartog Bear in Hand in Orinda. At Hartog Bear in Hand, our practice focuses exclusively on trust and estates drafting, administration, litigation, and financial elder abuse. As a result of our practice, we are acutely aware of the particularly vulnerable position that many elders in our community are placed. As a result, we work with Legal Assistance for Seniors, a Bay Area organization designed to promote and protect the independence and security of seniors through education, action, and advocacy. My colleague Kevin O'Brien represents LAS in an ongoing pro bono appeal, and my partner Margaret Hand dedicated the entire month of November to LAS. We're thrilled to see so many members and colleagues in the CCCBA working toward improving diversity, equity, and inclusion for all types of marginalized and underrepresented members of our community. And we at Hartog Bear in Hand look forward to continuing to be part of the solution.
Good afternoon. My name is Ella Gower, and I'm the managing shareholder at Miller Star Regalia. Miller Star Regalia is pleased to sponsor today's event and is a proud recipient of a diversity award today. We would like to thank the Contra Costa County Bar and its Diversity Committee for the outstanding webinars, presentations, and forums that they hosted this past year that helped to try and foster a more diverse and inclusive legal community.
Stacey Abrams has said, "We are strongest when we see the most vulnerable in our society, bear witness to their struggles, and then work to create systems to make it better." In that vein, I look forward to the day that the undertakings on this diversity checklist do not deem some of us worthy for an award, but instead have become so ingrained in all of us that they have simply become everyday actions. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Marjorie Wallace, and thank you so much for this diversity award. Equality, justice, innovation, excellence, and productivity are best achieved by lawyers when they reflect the community they serve. And that's why diversity matters. In 2022, I hope to see you with a diversity award too.
So great. A round of applause for all of our winners and all those who are recognized today. And keep up the good work and hard work and your commitment. And hopefully that list will be twice as long next year. And with that, I will turn it back over to Dorian.
Congratulations to all of our diversity award winners. That video was amazing. You know, the pandemic has allowed us to do some new things, and that was awesome to see everyone's face. Thank you for recording those videos. Thank you to everyone who attended today. It's my honor to serve you as the CCCBA president, and I'm humbled that everyone made it. And if you need anything from us, let us know. Look forward to continuing our strong relationship with the courts. And I'll go ahead and throw my contact information in the chat if anyone wants to reach out. With that, we'll go ahead and end our program. Thank you to everyone who showed up. Thank you to Teresa. Thank you to the board. And thank you to everyone who made it today.
Great. Thanks everyone for coming. It's great to see you all.
Thanks everybody. Take care.